Hi, if you're here, I trust that there's a message for you. Have you ever watched a YouTube video or any form of online content, or even just read a passage anywhere of a book, of an article, or heard any kind of speech or talk, and you heard a piece of it and you thought to yourself, or you read a piece of it and you thought to yourself, wow, that resonates so strongly. And in that moment, you want to screenshot the text, or you want to screen record the video so you can come back to it. You want to make a note in your phone because it's such a valuable piece of information to you. And you're just so grateful. Well, hopefully you take a moment to recognize how grateful you are for this person's work, whether they're an author or a coach or anything like that. And you think to yourself, wow, I am so grateful that this person made this video or wrote this text. So you may think that that's just a story that you experience, but I want to introduce the concept of you being that person that has valuable information that others would feel that way about. And before you start to think, no, I'm not an author, I don't really do that, or no, that's just not my calling. 100%, there's been a time where you have been talking to a friend or family member and you say something, and even if they don't say it and they didn't even call it out, you may not have ever consciously been made aware of this in the moment, but you have not just at some point, but at many points in your life, you have provided insight to somebody that was so helpful and maybe even pivotal for them. And I just am offering this message because sometimes I think we forget. It's kind of like, we look at ourselves in the mirror and we have an idea of who we are, but we never really look at ourselves like through the lens of someone taking a video of us, if that makes sense, right? Unless you're maybe an actor or you're on a reality TV show, then maybe you have seen yourself. But most of the time, we don't really get the opportunity to have that kind of insight as to seeing from like this third party out of body experience, our interactions with others, whether it's a conversation you have or something that you send to somebody that really helps them. We never really get to see that. So the reason I bring up looking in the mirror versus like seeing a video of you or just a replay is because that's kind of an analogy for what I'm getting at here, which is that you might look in the mirror and say, oh, I'm this type of person, or this is what I have to offer, or, oh, hopefully not, but maybe you're even saying, I don't have much to offer in this area, or that's not my skill set. And you're kind of looking at yourself in the mirror and you're creating this story about yourself, but you're not actually ever just as it is to be a human in your body, you likely don't get to see a video of yourself or a recording or a replay of the conversations you have with other people. And so you don't really have a clear vision of what and who you are to other people. And so before you start to maybe judge yourself or limit yourself and think that your voice will not help anyone or your insight or your knowledge is not super valuable, the message I'm getting here is to rethink that. And so if you have something to share, then you should share it. And even if you have a YouTube video that gets 7 views, and maybe none of those 7 people like or even comment on the video, and you still would have no idea how you're touching those people or what you may be saying that could resonate or provide really valuable insight. Or even if they're not even consciously receiving it as something valuable, you may be planting a seed. And I think that this is where the creative flow comes in of life, where if you commit to spreading your learnings, then they will form themselves into teachings for the right people. And sure, maybe you'll get 7 views and none of the people really resonated, but that's the whole point of continuing to make videos or continuing to write your articles or whatever it is that you may be doing if you're in a field of, knowledge sharing. And so I think it's just so important that we don't stop and that we continue regardless of the unknown of whether we're impacting people or how much we're impacting people. I think the important thing is that you put the art out there so that it can be received by people, and then on a spiritual quantum level, it will find the people that need it. And this may take time, this may take a repetitive lessons learned, or repeatedly and consistently putting out the messages. And when I say lessons learned, I mean finding out like what your voice is, how you want to portray your messages, what you want to talk about, like just to start, right? Because even if one person out of 5 views just finds something valuable in 3 seconds of your video, then isn't that worth it? Because we're connecting on an energetic level and you're contributing to the ascension and evolution of all of the humans on the planet. I just think that that's so valuable. And if we share more and we communicate more our messages, again, whether it's through videos, through writing, whatever it may be, then I think that we are truly making the world a better place and we're contributing to its evolution in a positive way. Thanks for listening.